Today on the Life Surfing Podcast, experiences from the session reminder of December 2024.
So consider it and see what is the significance of it. And when you make it visible to yourself, then it will be also easy more to bring it into practice. So we have the full moon time where we conclude the 1 week of the sesshin, and those who have been practicing it maybe would like to share how it has been, what you have observed, what has been coming up. Whatever you would like to bring up, this is a good possibility that more things around it can be brought into light. So who wants to start? From those who are participating from here or from elsewhere?
There wasn't much different, except that I was not so much with it because I was so busy with other people. There's nothing else different than what I told last time.
It's a very valuable support because in a simple way you are bringing a certain awareness process behind the words. And you will be surprised when you really apply it and practice it. It can be digging deeper, can be helping to clear up things. So that is the sense behind it, and I would recommend to everybody to continue to work with it as intensely, as deeply as possible for the next 6 weeks. So who wants to start us next?
I don't know the word in English. I say it in German. Ausgeblendet.
Very clear. The pads were working very perfectly.
Possible.
Yeah, it's not easy to let it in so as one wants it, because the automatism is always dragging one in all kind of things. But that is why, at least for this period when we have we have the sesshin, we have something to work with, and it is in a way time bound, so it makes it a little bit more easy for you to decide and be behind it. So it is your way of taking it in what is also making it possible for you to apply it more intensely or not. So consider it and see what is the significance of it. And when you make it visible to yourself, then it will be also easy more to bring it into practice. Because it's not so dramatic, it is not something so exciting, it's something very simple. That is why there's also the likelihood that one slips out of it easily. So continue with it now that you have brought it to your attention, and especially that you have brought it up. That's very, very valuable, because then you have the chance to bring it in more deeply. So who is next?
For me, it was always also more difficult than in the beginning. I was working with it, but often I could not stay longer with it. There was something coming or some elsewhere I had to be. So it was most of the time shorter, and I had the impression then one sees certain aspects, but sets it then somehow. So it's not when one stays longer with it, it can reveal different things also. So for me, the last days it was more, I was remembering it, but often then was some.
Make it consciously a priority that unless the other things are so urgent, let the other things be on the waiting list and take the time for this. In this way you have to play around. Of course, there are sometimes situations where you have to really jump into something else, and that's clear. But out of 10, 8 will be possible to stay with. And so if you decide in that way, you will be able to go behind it. So who is next?
I had one example that was the first reminder how to feel the temperature in the body basically. And it was quite interesting because actually I don't know really how it functions, but I could feel up to a certain point how the body is reacting or measuring or feeling. So it was a question on the existential side. I was with this feeling then, but this was basically enough. But I couldn't. I saw that how less I know about that, what is happening in such a simple thing. And with the second, it was more that I considered which are the barriers to, for example, to be loving, to be compassionate. So just to decide and be doesn't feel so easy.
The first one, the important thing what you also noticed is that you start discovering how wondrous everything is and how many things which we take for granted, it cannot be taken for granted. It's all part of this mystery, part of a great intelligence which is behind it. And so it will reveal to us the magnificence of the reality, the real mystery, the real fascination which is in the whole creation. So that is why it will be very significant if you can really apply it. You on 5 different occasions, 5 different words, 5 different situations you connect to, and look and stay with it. So this will be very good if you can continue with it. And with the second one, it's also that when you notice that you have basically deep within the orientation to be good, to be kind, to be loving, to be peaceful, to be compassionate and all that. And then when you are in a certain situation, looking, what is preventing me from living this? What are the factors working in me? And what is going on really? Then you will be surprised and maybe even shocked to see that you are giving so much attention to very peripheral things, clinging to things which are in a way in the deeper consideration not at all relevant, but out of habit, out of certain lack of deeper considerations, you are just passing time in that kind of way. And that is why it is very valuable when you bring the attention to these factors and work with it. So continue to work with it as intensely, at least for the next 6 weeks, and see.
Ja, to came a new word that was endurance. And when I was with this first reminder, I felt how much necessary it is that always in between my doings, I have to take this time to remember what is now going on, and also to feel the second reminder where I am still working with this lovingness that I feel, and just
Yeah, the thing is, when you become aware what are the things which are working in you, it is like you are looking at the collection of your room which is affecting your whole life. Everything what is operating in you, all what is taking your energy. So when you start considering like that, you're coming in touch with things which are actively playing a role in your life. And once you see that, you have the chance that you don't get overtaken by it in a blind way. Otherwise, unconsciously, automatically, from the darkness, things are pulling your energy, dragging you into this to make that conclusion, to make this decision, and you don't realize that they are not coming from your intelligence, they are not coming from your deeper sensibility. So when you bring attention, you go beyond the automatism, you go beyond the conditioned way of reacting into living a quality where you are more integrated, when you are more authentic, where you are more confident, because you are not fighting against yourself, you are only looking and you are letting the reality reveal to you, and from that you let decisions arise. So it is very deep, very valuable when you can really practice with it and work with it very deeply. Continue with it, both the reminders. And if necessary, listen to it often and work with it. Anyone else who is either sleeping or half asleep or imagining to be asleep? If anybody from outside who is participating.
Can I share something else?
Yeah, now we start with anything else.
Yeah. I felt somehow how important it is to look how even when the energy is hochgeschaukelt, how to even when it is not easy, yeah, to go creative about it. I don't know what wave it will create, but yeah.
No, once you are clear with yourself, your communication becomes also more easy.
Yeah.
Because once you see that, oh, you had not heard it rightly, that was a mistake, and so please consider that was the thing. If I had understood it, I would have definitely reacted differently, but I understood it first that it's for next day, and so then that is why you said that. So in this way, when you are open about your actual situation and also the misunderstandings or wrong hearing, things like that, then it becomes easy for also the other to see it in a different way. Otherwise, one is going around and mixing up all kind of things, and then out of a small little thing can become a big conflict. So when you reconsider, that is the thing of reconsidering, when you are not trying to justify your negativity, especially in negative situations. When you don't try to justify it and look what is a creative answer, what is a human, intelligent, sensible way to deal with the situation, then of course you see the certain ways arising, and that is beautiful when it is gone like that. It is a healthy way of living which is becoming possible like that. That is how the coexistence becomes really a beautiful process, and sometimes we can both laugh about it perhaps. No, it is again a question of you are getting clear with yourself. When you say that, okay, you have a different way of going about life, the others have a different way of going about life, you can accept yourself, you can accept also the other. And then, without going into fighting and forcing and proving that I'm right and you are wrong kind of approach, when you say we are both right, it's just that I have a different way of going about, so it will be easier for me when you are understanding my situation also, and when you can, as much as possible, take care of it, that will help me. Then you are not saying against them anything, it is more saying about yourself, and it's being open about it, and it gives the other greater chance to see, okay, he has a He's a Stadtrate, not a land eye. So then it gets in a different way of looking at it, and that will be valuable when you deep within you have to get clear in yourself and also see that you don't go unconsciously into this power game and trying to prove that I am right. When the ego is coming unconsciously from the back door, then you are already lost. Then it is just a question of pretending to be nice and goody and all that. But when you really look at things and you are authentic, you are in touch with yourself and you are with your heart sharing it with the others, accepting them for what they are, then definitely they have a different way of looking at life when they are growing up there and living there. And the neighbors are people with whom they just interact and exchange and go in a different way. And suddenly a new neighbor is coming there who has a different mentality, a different way of thinking and going. So for them it's like, who is this? So when they are behaving differently, you just have to compassionately connect to them and also communicate, because that you are clear inside and you don't carry any negativity towards the other, but you at the same time say, okay, this is how I will be having it in a beneficial way. It will help me to have my space. So then naturally you also help them to open up more as a human being. So that will be valuable.
That is it for the Life Surfing podcast for today. Please follow this podcast right here on Spotify.